On the attack, and I told you I'm fired up today, Gayle.
Let's go,
Let's
Steve.
go. I'm fired up.
Your enthusiasm like spills all the way from Illinois over here to Michigan, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Well, the truth is, part of us as a being, isn't it contagious? Like our attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Is your, is your energy contagious? Is your enthusiasm contagious? Is just your presence contagious? And how many people do we know that you're trying to stay away from? It's not even like the 6-foot rule for the pandemic. It's like a 600-foot rule. It's like, no, just stay clear away from me because I don't want anything that you're dishing out.
Yeah. Cut the power. Bam.
Yeah. So this is great to be back again. Thursday morning. We're sitting here at 11:11. And that's a symbolic time. I know that has a great meaning to many people, and it's all how it's interpreted. And that's Eastern time, by the way. It's 10:11 here, but I still celebrate this time in Eastern time. And today we are going to be carrying through with our discussion on E.C.H.O, which is an acronym that we've sort of lived by and has created a strong foundation in how we choose to make decisions in our life, how we choose to behave, and certainly almost creates an identity into what's required for us to be successful, whatever that means to anybody. Like success, again, has a definition and can be interpreted any way you want to look at it. So last week we discussed environment. Okay, so if E.C.H.O is an acronym, E.C.H.O, E is for environment. Today we're going to discuss consistency. I know last week I thought it was going to be like commitment. I mean, it could go either way, but we locked into consistency. I think both of them are characteristics that are required to drive us into an elevated state, a more expanded role in our life. And then H, which we'll talk about next week, which is going to be really exciting, is going to be habits. And then O, what's O, Gayle?
Ownership, Steve.
Ownership. And ownership and consistency, in my professional opinion, because I've worked with thousands of people when it comes to creating a healthier lifestyle modification or expansion, if there were two key ingredients that would make up a recipe, if you will, like if you're trying to create the best recipe that you can think of, that you're going to be having your girlfriend over for dinner for the first time, or boyfriend, whomever it is, your significant other, and you're having them over, you want that best recipe that you can think of that's going to really captivate and blow their mind. And again, if that's metaphorically speaking, of course, but if you look at it from a standpoint of, let's say, your greatest health, like if you're really trying to captivate your best version of yourself, the two missing ingredients are really consistency and accountability. Mm-hmm. And something really struck my mind. Last night I was talking about it, and the word simplicity came to mind. And just keeping it simple. Why is it that we make it so complex? Why is the complexity such a desired attribute when trying to achieve something? I say desired because they're seeking for complexity. Like they're going to find more information, more YouTube videos, more podcasts, more information, more courses, more classes. And if you just search for simplicity, wouldn't life just open up almost like a sunflower?
That's right. Thinking about that, because my husband's building a fire pit right now, an amazing fire pit. And he's ready to lay the capstones on top of the wall. And he was YouTube. What did he do? It was simple. He watched 2 YouTube videos, one that was relevant to the stones he has, and one that was different kind of stones. And he's like, okay, that's all I need to know. Like he just needed that one little piece to solidify in his mind now how he's going to match those up. And yeah, I'm sure there was probably 25 videos on how to lay a capstone on a fire pit wall, but it only took really one to solidify that. So we do have a tendency to complicate things, and when we keep it simple, and we're gonna chat about that a little bit later in today's conversation, because of how we're going to answer that question. Why is it so dang hard to be consistent? So those of you who read that in the pre-show, you probably asked yourself that same question, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. So Steve, define consistency.
Oh, wow. How I would interpret consistency is it's a sense of a winning streak, but it's also a sense of familiarity in a routine. So ideally, if you think about consistency, why do people choose to be consistent? It's because they're attempting to create a habit
Mm-hmm.
that is either a behavior or a thought. And people are like, well, what do you mean thoughts? Thoughts can be consistent in habits? Oh, yeah. How we think about ourselves, our self-image, which is also identity, which most people don't think of it that way. But our thoughts even have a habitual status to it. And what we desire to do if we're looking for consistency is we're choosing or we're desiring something to be on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's sort of like a long response, but I would simply say that consistency is just locking into either a behavior or a thought that's sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
that you're choosing to do as frequently as you've committed to. And there's a saying I say daily, and it's what you do every day matters more than what you do every so often. And that directly correlates to consistency. What you do every day, think about it for a moment. What you do every day matters more than what you do every so often. It's not applicable in everything. But if you really want to create small habit changes, and maybe the word habit's probably not even the right word because it's not a habit. It takes weeks, months, sometimes years to create a habit. I would say if you're looking for awareness and you're really trying to lock into that behavior or thought pattern that you're trying to break to create a new space for a new one, then it will require you to do something every day. Other than, let's say, for example, let's say church. We talked about this and a little bit before. Like if you're trying to enhance your spirituality or your religion and you want to give more to whomever your higher powers or being is that you honor, whether it's God or Buddha or whomever, and let's say that Sundays you're going to worship the spirituality. Well, then if you're every Sunday, it's not every day, but every Sunday, every week, consistently, you start building that muscle of pattern again. Or maybe it's for your first time. Or it could be going to the gym, for example. Like, hey, people know it's not a surprise that if you want to increase your fitness and enhance your level of health, then going to the gym is probably a great idea.
Oh yeah.
So
I can attest to that as someone who's thought she never had to go to the gym in order to get healthy and strong. And I think you can be healthy without going to the gym, but if you want to be healthy and strong and fit, that resistance adds a level of well, I say complexity, but within ourselves, the simplicity complexity. I don't
there
know.
you go.
I'm still figuring it out.
You
And
may have to create a hybrid word there somehow.
so I've been going to the gym for just a little over a year, and it's still not a habit for me, Steve. I still go in and I still have to watch your videos. I have to read some descriptions because it's there's a lot to learn about it. But if you take it and you break it down to, I'm going to go 3 days a week, and you go 3 days a week consistently, you get stronger, you learn more. I know where the TheraBands are. I know where the dumbbells are. Like it becomes familiar. The awareness, you mentioned the word awareness. Like I have different awareness now going into the gym, even though I feel like there's still so much I could learn. So, and that's about life. Life is about starting small with an action. You know, we talk about thoughts and behavior. Well, our thoughts lead to our behavior because our thoughts lead to the emotion that we feel around what we're going to do. I've, you know, and I ask those questions because I could very easily, and many people are like, this is, think about your nutritional every day. We got to eat every day. How do you eat every day? Well, how you eat every day starts right up here in your thoughts. Like how you feel. Oh, I feel like I want to have an ice cream bar. But then you take that thought and you shift it to, oh, but who would I be? What would I do? How would I feel if I already had this? And so that alters my behavior. That thought, not acted upon, alters my behavior to the outcome that I want. So continue the winning streak, sustainability and consistency.
Yeah. So it really comes down to the question, and we try to keep this as compact as we can in this conversation for 22 minutes, 11 minutes of us having a conversation as such. We're going to dip a little bit into our time, but here's what you have to ask yourself is how can you create sustainable consistency in your day to day? Like, don't think, again, this is my recommendation. Don't think like, what can I do 3 or 4 days per week? Like going to the gym or going grocery shopping or prepping my foods. What can you do every day? One thing, a small commitment. I call it a power promise that you can do every day that's going to be sustainable and it's going to create consistency. For example, if I look at my own life, there are certain things that happen every single day without fail. They are on autopilot and they are essentially non-negotiable. When I wake up, when I go to bed, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, Monday through Sunday, non-negotiable. I go to bed at 10 p.m. because that I know that I'm getting 7 hours of restful sleep. So I've already bookended my days there. That is consistency. Then I wake up, I drink 32 ounces of water every morning. It's like I'm sleepwalking, wake up. I'm like, after I give my little bit of gratitude and, thank you for another opportunity to, serve people today. I go downstairs, drink my water, and I get my day going. Riding my bike. I ride my bike every day for a minimum of 1 mile per day. So every day, Monday through Sunday, sending one card. I send one card of gratitude every day. So it's just, what is that one little thing that you can do every day that gets locked into a routine or a schedule? And that's going to build what we call integrity momentum. You're doing something that you say you're going to do when nobody else is watching, which is personal integrity. And then you create this momentum. And then with that momentum comes confidence. And one thing that people will voluntarily admit to is saying, Steve, I just lack confidence. How do I build my confidence? There is no magic formula for that other than you preventing yourself from breaking the promises that you're making to yourself. And that's going to come from consistency. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's such a powerful topic. It's not like I didn't invent consistency. You didn't. It's so simple that we overlook the simplicity of what it really takes to earn what we truly want in this one valuable life.
So Steve, why is it so dang hard to be consistent? And you and I discussed a couple things. Mm-hmm. And number one is we bite off more than we can chew. And you just kind of laid that out by saying what are the small things you can do every day? I remember when I started coaching with you about 1.5 years ago, and you asked me a simple question: how much water do you drink? And I said, well, I know how much I should drink, but the reality is, I don't know, maybe 20 ounces a day. Can you do 32, Gayle? And it was one small thing that led to more and more increase, because with consistency comes increase. Not always, but with my water hydration, it did. So it wasn't, you didn't tell me, like I knew I should be drinking 1 gallon of water a day. You didn't say, Gayle, go drink 1 gallon of water a day. Come on, you know better. You know what you should be doing, but you're just not doing it. Mm-hmm. You said, increase it a little bit and a little bit. So we bite off more than we can chew. And
that goes with everything in perspective in your life, by the way. Water is a great example. The majority of people, you've probably, as you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, I know I need to drink more water. Is meet yourself where you're at. Just first have the data, find out how much you're drinking. If I were to ask you how much water are you drinking and you say, well, I have no clue, start tracking that. What gets measured gets improved. And it goes with physical fitness. So if you are one that does not actively move your body and honor yourself with movement and enhance blood flow or exercise or lifting, don't commit to saying, all right, I'm going to go to the gym 9 days per week for 5 hours per day. Like that's what people do and they get burned out.
But Steve, I have a wedding coming up. It's summer. I want to look my best. I gotta do it all right now.
Yeah, and that's the weight loss game versus the transformation game, which I feel we should have an episode just on that once we conclude our E.C.H.O module here. But and think about that. Think about even food, like eating. Like people will say, well, what do I need to do for nutrition? I need to change my nutrition 180 degrees. No, you don't. All you do is you start with one meal and then start creating a new behavior around that one piece and allow that to become automated and on autopilot. And then you'll start noticing that, hey, this is easy and it's sustainable. So that you can continue growing into that modified meal plan that you know is going to be the right plan for you. Because again, you said it, but we know what we need to do. We're just not doing what we know. And we think we have to go and overwhelm ourselves with this. And that's not the case because we do, as they say, bite off more than we can chew. So just start slow. So why is it so stinking hard to create consistency? You're overcommitting. It's an overcommitment, and that needs to stop if you're going to start creating real change in your life. Start small.
Start small. And what about our reasons?
Well, that'd be the second one. And that like popped up to me immediately is the reason why we'll use the word challenging, to create consistency is because the reasons for you taking on the new behavior or thought is not reinforced by strong enough reasons. Like you don't have an emotional like intensity behind it. And so we do things, we lie to ourselves. We lie to ourselves telling us that we're doing something for a specific reason when it's not even the reason. It's just very superficial. Dig down deep. What are you truly doing this for? Who are you doing it for? Okay. Is it for yourself? Is it because you want to watch your grandkids grow up or your kids or watch them graduate school or for them to, be there healthy on their wedding day or something? Like get an emotional tie into it. And that's going to reinforce your level of consistency of just the simplest and smallest behaviors that you can implement into your routine. So I would say those are like two of the biggest things of consistency is that it's overcommitted. And it's going to be that the reasons are not big enough. It's not the goals. Like we wake up in the morning. Here's the way I look at it. We wake up in the morning, put our feet to the ground, not to go after our goals, but for us to fulfill the reasons that we are attaining those goals. Because if you have a goal and that there's no reason behind it, like there's no strong emotional like intensity behind that, then that goal is impotent. It's dead. That goal's like, it doesn't even matter if it's written down or not written down. So have a strong enough reason to why you are creating that behavior of consistency in the first place.
I loved how you once described our vision, like decide who you want to become. You have a goal, you have a vision that's out there, but by becoming the consistency of becoming the person that you desire to become, that vision is drawn to you. It's kind of like success is attracted, not pursued.
Right.
So it's all in becoming. Decide, get that emotional reason of who you desire to become and create that vision for yourself. see that out there, see that healthy, strong, successful business owner, playful, fun grandma. Like I remember, like seriously, wasn't maybe 3 years ago. You know, my granddaughter Piper she just turned 9, and she was probably about 5 or 6. And she was sitting on my lap, poking at my stomach, saying, "Grandma, what is that?" That that motivated me. Like we talk about motivation pushes, that pushed me to
Mhm.
get off of where I was at. That was my reason. I wanted to be strong, healthy, and fit so I could play with my grandchildren who are now growing up and being older and fun, you know. So you're never too old to start. So those of you watching this right now, you think, well, I'm 60, I'm 70, I'm 80. What's consistency going to do for me? Let me tell you, it'll
Mm,
do whatever you desire it to do for you.
mm.
If your reasons are stronger than your excuses not to have that.
Bam, there it is right there. That's a mic drop. You know, it's not even the fact that people don't have consistency. They have consistency in other areas of their life. So take an observation. Look at the landscape of your own life and see, where am I being consistent? Where have I created success in other avenues? Maybe it's business, maybe it's, you know, you cultivating your lawn outside and you're just consistent picking all the weeds so that doesn't take over the nice, you know, voluptuous grass or flowers that you have. Like, you're consistent somewhere in your life, and now what you need to do is make a real decision and say, I'm going to carry that over into my health, one small behavior at a time, just one small thing, so you can start building that momentum. And it's really that simple. And if we're searching for simplicity, you're going to find it. It's right there. If you tell yourself and you're constantly saying, "Oh, getting healthy is hard. Wow, there's so much work. It's difficult." Guess what? Guess what the world's going to bring to you? It's going to bring to you hard, laborious, challenging attempts.
Well, and let's face it, hard life easy, easy life hard. It's easy to go through the drive-through. It's easy to buy junk food. It's easy to do things that lead to a hard life, a sedentary hard life where your knees ache, your shoulders hurt, your joints are inflamed, all of that. Or you can choose the hard life, which is turning it around until it becomes easy. I was just having a conversation with my friend Wendy this morning, and we were talking about finance and fitness and healthy eating. And she says, you know, for us, because we've done it for so long now, it's become easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't think about it. So what once was hard for me to make that transition is now easy. It's like my habits support that. My consistency supports where I am today. And so you choose hard life easy or easy life hard.
Pick your hard, pick your pain. Awesome. Well,
Well,
this is a great conversation. What a way to tackle that second component of echo. And we encourage you that if you have questions and, you know, perhaps there's a level of consistency in a certain area of your life that is a little more challenging than another, reach out. We want to, you know, be that beacon so that we can put you in that path and put you in the direction that is going to create value in your life and sustainability. So next week, are you ready for next week, Gail?
let's go, Steve. Next
Habits.
week, habits.
Yeah, we're gonna do habits, and we're gonna have an incredible weekend. It's gonna be fun. We're not gonna say much. We'll probably jump on a live at some point. I'm sure several lives, and be
Yes.
able to share our time together. So, what are the takeaways today, Gil? I'm curious on that too. What are the takeaways?
My takeaways, thoughts and behavior. That consistency starts in your thoughts and leads to the behaviors. And it's the small things. Don't take one thing away from what we talked about today. Implement it in your life. Day one, keep it in a journal, write it in a journal. Day one, day two, day three, get on a winning streak, create your own winning streak. You deserve to have a winning streak in your life that serves
Yeah,
you.
buddy. Awesome. Well, time to go. Let's close out this episode, and I look forward to an incredible day ahead. Let's make it a day worth repeating.
Let's go.
All right, I'm out.